What's up, guys? It's your boy Phil Shocker and the Nicest Hedgehog here with our PDL Draft number 3 here for you guys. If you guys have also been wondering kind of where the videos have been a little bit lately, I actually just ran, and I've also explained this in a video already, but I actually ran out of, I actually not ran out of, what was I saying? I actually had my internet cut out for about a day and a half, a full day and a half actually. It happened on my birthday, which was yesterday, as you'll see on the day on the recording of this. Then it happened literally on Saturday on like 5 p.m. So after like halfway through the day, and it was really annoying and really agitating because I was forced to forfeit the only one game I had left to play, just because for one it wasn't fair to the league and also fair to the guys to just make them wait because like I can't like determine anything on when the internet will be back and stuff like that. So I had to forfeit the one game that kind of mattered to me there because it could have helped with differential in playoffs. But overall, though, just was a hard time lately, and my mental focus also just kind of was going down the drain, especially with some of the losses we've had. But we're gonna go past that now. Gonna try to keep ourselves in a positive spirit here. We're gonna look forward right now, and that's what we're gonna do. And especially with our team that we have here, some of these picks are probably slightly out of order, but I'm honestly just I just went from the site and quickly grabbed them while I had. So, with that being said, let's get into our draft number 3. We are currently 3-3 with a -3. We have to guarantee win at least, I would have to say, 2 games to have a shot at playoffs. Win all 3, we guarantee. 2 is a shot. 1, it's very slim, and it's going to come down to diff. So we're in a bit of a tough pickle, especially since we probably should have most likely won last week, but it is what it is. So with this team, I went with a very different approach. I went with a bit of a sand team, but I went with actually a very different approach to my sand team because, again, like I said, with each draft, I wanted to draft completely different Pokemon each time. And I went with a very unique team that I think is very different from how people normally associate me in draft, and for what exactly they expect me to have and bring. You know what I mean? And a lot of people will definitely say this is an extremely different type of team that I am used to. So it's gonna be very different. It's gonna be very unique. So I'm really excited. So I actually got pick 4 again in the draft because of the way the differentials and the records were looking. So I slightly had a worser standing spot. So I was actually able to get pick 4, which was pretty interesting. So I had pick 15 or pick 14, 15 or 16, one of those three. Then I had pick 4 and I got pick 4 again. So I kind of had decent draft spots in my last two, in this one and my last one. So we have some good stuff there. So this is hopefully though the team that's gonna get us there because Sand never lets me down. So I'm trusting Sand again this time around to kind of really help us around. So I had 4th pick. I already knew I wanted Sand, so I was going to immediately pick this mon up just because I wanted to make sure we secured that. We got Excadrill. Excadrill is a menace and is one of the most successful draft mons I've ever used. I believe it has like 60 some kills, probably close to 70 at this point, and only like 20 to 30 some deaths. This mon has been super successful for me. Now I have paired it with Sand every single time, so it kind of explains all those kills that it's had. But this mon is just dummy broken. This mon with Sand is just so threatening. And then if the right matchup kind of goes right there, I can run Sand Force to it as well, and just be able to just get a extra like life orb boost to my attacks when I'm already choice banded for it, and just start claiming KOs. So there's also the chance of Mold Breaker Drill, which can work out in some matches as well. Which can really catch an opponent off guard if they're not prepped for, especially if they have like Rotom forms and stuff like that. So can really counter a really scary team if they're not careful. So really love Excadrill. It's just a fantastic Pokemon, and I think it's going to be one of the biggest MVP mons for our team going in draft number 3. With the second pick, I went with a pick that probably doesn't make any sense because it's not tier 1. in my opinion, for what it's got handicapped because they put some handicaps on Pokemon. But for my second pick, I picked up Munch, the boy, Dracovish. Now you're wondering why I have Sandrush here. For some reason they wanted Dracovish to be tier 1 with Sandrush. I personally don't think that's actually smart, in my opinion. I don't think Strongjaw is as broken as a lot of people think it is. It can be countered if you play it correctly, also with having a good amount of counters to it. So I think having Strongjaw banned is kind of stupid in my opinion because it actually just limits Vicious Rind's output and the other damage input because again it's only base 90 attack which caps out just a little over 200 which is not that strong. So I personally don't think that's smart on their end, but again, it's not my decision, not my league. I mean, they had Urshifu single strike in the league, but they banned Wicked Blow. I mean, Urshifu can actually still be good. There's actually some moves that are slightly stronger than Wicked Blow, so I can kind of see that. But still, I think it's kind of dumb to ban Wicked Blow. I feel like that's really a bad decision. But in their league, not really. But I went with Monch. Now I went with going Sand. I decided knowing that if this thing's only going to run Sand Rush, I might as well grab something that's going to be a really good offensive water type for the team. It's not going to be my dragon. It's going to be my water. So, Dracovish, you all know how much I love this bad boy. He is one of the most successful Mons on my team. He is on 5 out of 10 championships on my team. And out of those 5 championships he's been on there, I'm pretty sure 3 of them he has gone the last kill. So that just goes to show you that I know how to use Dracovish and that I know how this Pokemon runs. Especially since I always run sets that make no sense to anyone's mind and I'll still do well with it. So, really excited for Dracovish. I'm really happy to have my boy Munch back. He's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to use some destruction with him. With my third pick, I kind of maybe jumped a little bit early on this pick, but it was kind of one of those picks that I really needed because it was one of the few fire types that I think could fit well on a sand team. Now, normally, fire typing probably isn't the smartest one to have on a sand team of sorts because, again, sand chips away at the fire types and kind of can actually favor against other teams that can take advantage of our sand. But I went with Volcarona because of the fact I've never tried Volcarona really. I think I have one time and it was an okay time with it. I didn't think I finished the league because people were I think harassing or bullying me, so I left the league entirely for that. But Volcarona has been a Pokemon I've kind of here and there used, never fully used it. Well, we're not gonna again fully use it, but again, it's another one of those Pokemon I want to try. It's a fantastic Pokemon. Quiver Dance setup is very scary. Specs is a menace. Heavy Duty Boots makes this thing very, very hard to wear down, which is really, really good. Base 100 speed stat really paired off with the 75 and then 88 with Drill and Vish, so I think that's really, really good in terms of just if I ran outside of Sand. So that's really, really good. So I think Firefly is going to be super good. I'm super excited to try Volcarona. It's definitely one of those fire types I think a lot of people need to give a try and actually have some fun with. To pair with this team now, I kind of went with a bit of a different direction with this pick because this pick maybe kind of give me some cool little utility ideas and kind of some cool little gimmicks I can try if I really wanted to. And that was Torn Eye. I've never used Torn Eye. I've never used Thundy Eye. I've used Lando Eye a couple of times to some success. And I've never tried the other one. So it's gonna be interesting to try this one. Base 111, so another good speed tier to kind of outspeed the 110s, which is really good. Prankster, mostly grab this for Prankster Defog. Prankster Defog, I think, is very important in this type of thing because if I know I can do a hit and I want to get rid of these hazards the last second and I'm willing to sack this off to something, I'm willing to go ahead and just defog, sack this away, bring in my cleaners, and be able to know that they can pretty much win the game. So, really excited for these mons and see how they do. Torn is definitely it's been a love hate Pokemon with Torn T because of some as well. So after the recent game I just played with it. But Tornadus should be different. It's going to be unique. It's a little bit more stronger, just slightly. But it's also got a better physical attack set, so we can kind of make use of some physical sets if we really wanted to. I overall think Tornadus is going to be such a great mon for this team. Also, the main reason I drafted this Pokemon was because of Tailwind. Tailwind's really, really good because of the fact that think about Vish getting access to Tailwind to help boost Vish's Ren without Strongjaw, and gives Drill an option to also be a very offensive menace outside of Sand. So I kind of went the idea of having this pick and then making my team kind of look more scary because of the fact that now you may not even see Sand come against this team. You may see Tailwind support with this team and just be a very scary offensive pressures. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. But I'm super excited to try Typhoon here. Torn and it's gonna be really awesome. I went with Gigalith as my sand setter. I was originally gonna go with actually Tyranitar, but with the Mega I was going for, and for what I kind of wanted to go for in terms of the rest of the draft, I kind of gave up a little bit on that idea because I actually was thinking of going something like um Tyranitar plus Torn, but the Torn literally got taken before the end of round one. But it is what it is on that. But overall though, I'm super happy with Gigalith. I've come to learn to love Gigalith. I think if I have to rank my sand setters, I definitely go Hippowdon one. No matter how many times people say I'm wrong, even though I'm right, Hippowdon is one of them. I think it's got to be Gig at this point. I think I've rate Gig more than Tyranitar slightly, but I haven't used Tyranitar as much as a sand setter because I think personally Tyranitar is actually better as a Pokemon on its own than it is a sand setter. But Gigalith, I think, is just that good. Stealth Rocks, Body Press, Toxic, Explosion, just setting up Sandstream is just really, really good. Gigalith is just also just a fantastically good defensive piece to a lot of teams out there. Like you can run pretty much like a max def, almost max HP, and then just red dress defense and just have a stupid annoying wall that can just sit there and just do work. So I'm super excited. And also, I'm going to raise that up in case I was low. I'm super excited for Gigalith again. I know we were using it in LPL, which, is now what it is now. So, Crystal, I'm looking forward to using this season for the rest of the leagues. And hopefully, it can take us to a championship run in the playoffs. With my next pick, I had to grab a fairy type, and pretty much all the best fairies were gone, and I didn't know what really fairy type I really, really wanted, because all the main fairies were probably overpriced in tier 1 and tier 2, and I felt like the tier 3 fairies were pretty much mostly gone, and there weren't a lot of good ones, especially in the lower tier, so I had to go with one that was relatively good, and can kind of provide something for my team if I need to. And this is like, if you guys didn't know, this was Haunch's favorite Pokemon here. It's Comfey. Hans tells me all the time how much he loves this Pokemon, and it's definitely one of those Pokemon that he is very familiar with. It's one of his all-time kill leaders, and so I want to take inspiration from Haunch and be able to do. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't say that with a straight face. Okay, actually, in hindsight, Haunch absolutely despises this Pokemon for some whatever reason. I don't know why, but he does. But I think for what I needed a fairy, I would have gone Aromatisse, but I think Aromatisse was either taken at that point in time, or I felt like it just didn't fit the team as what I wanted. Aromatisse, Comfey though does give me a mon that good triage, so priority and recovery is also really, really good. Does give me the defogger for the team, so I believe. Firefly actually has defog as well. It does. So I do have two. I have one sort of defog option with that. I do have Rabbit Spin with Drill. I now have two decent enough reliable defoggers in both Torn and now Comfey. So I think it's going to be interesting. Obviously, Steel types and Poison types kind of run over Comfey, but we've got answers to Steels. We've got answers to Steels there. We have the answer to Poison right there. We have some decent answer to Poison as well. And we just overall some just good general coverage against most teams with Poison. So I'm really excited to try Comfey and see how that does for us. Who knows? Maybe it'll be good. Who knows? It'll do bad. Going into the last picks we have here, we have Shepard, or as some would love to be known as Fabio, if you remember Joey Pokemon MD. Shepard here, I went with Mega Ampharos for the fact that I wanted to get a really solid electric type, but I also wanted to go with a really solid dragon, and I felt like for this to be my dragon, I think made a lot of sense. This thing with base 165 special attack. There is a very few switch-ins, and one of the best things about Ambrose here is Mold Breaker. So your Volt absorbs. You ain't doing anything. You're not switching no longer. And then most of every mon out there cannot switch into the combination of Electric plus Dragon Stab. There's really realistically no switching. Like Fairy, Electric. Your Electrics and Grounds, Dragon. Like there's really no sets that really. Obviously, there's the Common Rest Sleep Talk Fabio sets that everyone knows. And there's also, if you can be a little cheeky with it, I've done this before, there's agility offensive Ampharos, which is really good. And there's also cool little bit cotton guard sets that you can run. Like if you know a team really can't switch into Dragon and can't switch to Legend, you run like Cotton Guard, Rest, Sleep Talk, and then just go to town on a lot of teams out there. So I really love Fabio. Fabio is going to be great this season. And I barely ever try Mega Ampharos, so I'm really excited to be in a league that lets me actually get to try it. For the dark typing, I actually scooped up Midnight. If you guys don't know, we're using Midnight in WWC, which actually, by the time you see this video, WWC is probably not up just yet because of the fact that I'm finishing LPL videos before I upload WWC. I feel like, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Once LPL videos are pretty much done and over with, I'm going to start uploading up WWC, which more than likely you'll probably see WWC videos coming out right when we're in like weeks 4, 5, or 6. So well, I guess it's just a spoiler then that you know one of my mons that I have on my team. But Umbreon, I felt like from when I was using it in the one league I'm in WC right now for just like the few weeks, and to what I think it adds to this team, it is so good. It's definitely, it takes a hindrance in reliable recovery with Moonlight because Sand does hinder that, which I understand being a bit of an issue there. But again, Wish Passing I think is super good for my team, and you can kind of see with the rest of the team is more like kind of a theme of bulk in terms of what I have because I have really strong offense in my first several picks here. I don't have a ton of bulk, so I wanted to start making drive to bulk, and this was one of the last major tier 3 Pokemon I can get because the way I budget on my picks, I was able to get 2 tier 4s, 3 tier 3s, 2 tier 2s, and 2 tier 1s. So I really wanted to balance out my team in terms of what I get. So this was the last tier 3 I got, and now going into the tier 4s, the first tier 4 I grabbed was the Strength Saps, aka Vileplume. If you guys don't know, Ms. Aquarius, the queen herself, has bestowed that this is her favorite Pokemon, and is probably one of the best Pokemon alive out there. So I will take her word for it, and I've actually been having a little bit of a time to want to try Vileplume. I think in a national dex type of setting, definitely doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's interesting to say the least. And plus, I think it's gonna be a decent Pokemon. I mean, who knows? I could roll up the Strat with Sunny Day Chlorophyll. I think Effect Sport is gonna be so annoying for so many teams because of the fact that Fat Sport just gives me any kind of status at any point in time when they get hit with a contact and everything like that. So I am super excited to try out Vileplume and see how it does. It has stalled me quite a lot in the past, so maybe the power of the Strength Saps of Aquarius' mascot will help lead me to victory. And next we have Licky Licky, which is literally my Wi-Fi, which has been okay. I wanted to make a kind of a joke, but I know my buddy Owen would be like, "You ain't dissing my boy Licky Licky." But basically, I was gonna make a joke that my Wi-Fi is just bad, and I was gonna make a joke like Licky Licky's bad, but Licky Licky's actually not that bad. It's actually pretty fun to use. It's definitely one of the better lower tier normals, if not probably one of the best normals actually in the game, because it's actually a really good mod. It activates Cloud9, so when this Pokemon is out, it doesn't get hit by weather. So basically, this Pokemon does not get affected by boosted attacks. So, like say I'm in the rain and you have Hydro Pump, you're not hitting me with a boosted Hydro Pump. You're hitting me with a regular based Hydro Pump that you're off your stats. So that's really, really good there. And also just the fact that Licky Licky has one of the more slept on abilities in own tempo, which basically means it can not be confused. Oh no, oblivious, that's what I meant to say. Is that it cannot be intimidated, and it cannot be taunted. Getting a Pokemon that cannot be taunted is extremely good because that's free wishes, that's free toxics, that's just free anything. Licky Licky is just a very solid defensive normal, which actually has decent good offensive coverage. Since it technically comes from a Gen 1 on Mon, it gets relatively the Gen 1 moveset treatment, getting fire coverage, ice coverage, electric coverage, got access to Power Whip, which is one of the very first moves it very much learns, which I find a little weird. We can be a little cheeky and run some swords dance, licky licky. Specs licky licky, bandit. I know my buddy Owen ran bandit licky licky, and I actually won him like draft league match, which was pretty funny. But Licky Licky is very interesting. It's the second Wish Pasture for a team. It gives me one of the another best HP stats to get Wish Pasting from. So I think it's really, really good. So I felt like it was a really solid pickup as our normal type to get Ghost Immunity. And speaking of Ghost Immunities and getting just the typing, I went with the good old Ghosty Boy in Blimp. Now, in low tier, I have made this mon a monster before. I single-handedly six-out someone with Weakness Policy, Calm Mind Drift Blim with Strength Sap. Don't ask me how I was able to pull that off. I'm just that good with setup. But Drip Limb was a fun mon that season. And I've never tried it in a regular season format. So you know what? If there's the right matchup for Drifloom, let's see if we can try to make it work. Try to do that again. I think Drifloom's also pretty much not really used a lot in Draft League. And I think it's a very slept on Pokemon if you're not prepared for it correctly. But overall, though, I love Drifloom. It's going to be really fun. If we don't use it, we don't use it. But if we can use it, we can have it. It's also another option for Defog as well. So now I have two mons that can defog, but they're most likely probably not going to. And I guess you can kind of theory on which of those two you can be. But also I have two reliable defoggers in Blight Flyers. I have a good optional defog in Comfey, and I at least have an option with Firefly if I just really need to run one or two moves with Quiver Dance or something like that. Overall, I think this team came together pretty good, man. I think we covered a lot of the weaknesses on this team that it definitely kind of struggles with. Like ice is probably one of the biggest weaknesses we have in terms of ice. I say freeze dry, but we have Gigalith, which resists and has the sand boost. We have Firefly, which is resist. We have Umbreon, which really takes hits really well. I think that's really good. I think we covered also Sand's biggest issues, which is water and grass. Grass we have really covered in our flyers and also our dragon, our poison type, and then water. I would definitely say water is also a bit of an issue, but actually, I just realized this. I don't have a grass type. Well, grass types really don't work that well on sand teams anyway, so it's all right. I can patch it up. Well, actually, I can't patch that up. Never mind. Well, that's all right. And plus, grasses on sand teams usually aren't all that good sometimes, unless it's Tangela. Tangela's like one of your best ones there. Oh yeah, I do have a grass. Oh my god, Vileplume. Why am I so dumb? Water typing, we got Vileplume, we have Ampharos. Water typing, I think, is going to be the only one that's going to be a little bit of a problem for, but overall, I think it's going to be great. But yep, that's the team, guys. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think we are going to make the playoffs? And out of all the three teams you have seen me draft, let me know in the comments below which of the three have you liked the most. Not based on performance, not based on individual mons, just the way the teams were synergized together. Let me know out of all three of them which were your favorites. Personally, I think we did well with all three of them. This was definitely one of my most unique ones that I did because I took a lot of unique takes on kind of some things I wanted to pair and want to move around with. So super excited to use this team. Hopefully we make the playoffs, and if we don't, we at least had a fun experience learning this. And I definitely made sure I tried new Pokemon. I tried different Pokemon every single time, and just overall had a good time. So here's hoping we make playoffs, and if we don't, we had fun. Yeah. So like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.